That was a statement win for LSU. I don't know how else to say it. LSU played great. They deserved to win. They finished when they had to, and they get a huge win on the road in a hostile environment against what I truly do believe is a very, very good Clemson team. To me, LSU scored the win of the weekend in college football. Yes, monster win for Ohio State, being the number one team in the country, but that was at home. This is LSU going on the road, and I thought it was brilliant. The way that I kind of handicapped this game, if you want to call it that, without wagering on it, turned out to kind of be the way that it played out. I told you on Friday, I trust this LSU defense. I think it is good on every level. I think it's going to be elite in college football. I think it's going to be one of the best in the SEC and the nation. And after 4 quarters, there's very little you could say to argue against that. This was a complete and excellent performance from LSU defensively, really from start to finish. I mean, Clemson scored 10 points. 3 of them LSU gifted as Bauer Sharp dropped the ball and Clemson runs it back down into field goal range. They actually, on that drive, go -1 yard and kick a field goal, and then Clemson mounted one 75-yard drive. And beyond that, there was nothing for Clemson offensively. This is a Clemson team with an offensive line that was loaded with experience and has a lot of high-end talent as well. Supposed to be a strength of this Clemson team. They flat quit trying to run the ball. Quit trying. In the second half, they had 4 rushing attempts. They did not run the ball on a single first down the entire second half. And the end result for Clemson on the ground was essentially nothing. 20 attempts, 31 yards. The leading rusher in terms of attempts for Clemson was Cade Klubnik with 8. Adam Randall's a big physical dude. You saw that on the touchdown that he punched in. 235 pounds. They gave it to him 5 times total in the game. They quit trying to run the ball. It was not because they were down 3 scores. They were never down 2 scores in this game. They quit trying to run it. Said, we've got to throw the ball. And when they threw the football, as we talked about last week, LSU now has a secondary capable of playing the ball. LSU is credited in this game with 6 pass breakups. You saw Mansour Delane get in on a 4th down and knock a ball away. You saw P.J. Woodland in coverage doing a nice job. A.J. Halsey came in the second half after serving that suspension on a 3rd down play over the middle. He knocks one away. They made life difficult on Clemson's wide receivers. Now, I realize losing Williams is a big deal for Clemson. That's not something we're just going to completely dismiss. That's a big deal to lose your number 1 receiver. But they had depth there. Bryant Wesco had a monster freshman year. TJ Moore had a monster freshman year. Those guys were back. And Cade Klubnik only completed 50% of his throws. He was under pressure at times. LSU pressured him 5 times. One of those pressures resulted in interception by LSU's transfer portal players. You had Patrick Payton on the pressure, forces Klubnik to throw high. Delane's right there, makes a play on the ball. But there was pressure all night. And there was pressure on the 4th down that finished the game. Harold Perkins comes flying off the field, shows you that speed, and Cade Klubnik doesn't have the ability to elude it and can't get anything on the throw. It's thrown away. This is not a fluke. This is not a situation where LSU played above its skis or LSU got some significant breaks. This was just a great defense with a really good defensive coordinator and an excellent plan, and the execution of the defense was spectacular. They put Clemson in a blender for the majority of that football game. And that is not something LSU has had the ability to do for years. They didn't have to do it in 2019. I thought the defense was pretty good at the end of the year in 2019. A lot of folks will point back at the Vanderbilt game and point back at the Ole Miss game that year. But towards the end of the season, LSU's defense was playing really well, and you had a lot of NFL players on that defense. But since then, defense has not been played at a high level at LSU, and that changes this year. You've got transfers that have come in to make an immediate impact. You saw that from Delane. You saw that from Halsey. You saw that from Gooden. You saw that from Payton. You saw that from Pyburn. These are guys they brought in because they were proven Power 4 college defenders, and they did their jobs. Saw Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins looked fast and athletic, healthy, excellent. I thought you saw Jacoby and Guillory look healthy on the inside. Ahmad Bro and Dominic McKinley were in there. And nobody on the defense stood out statistically. It was just the way that the defense played as a whole that was so encouraging. Nobody had more than 5 tackles. Nobody had more than a tackle and a half for loss. Perkins had both of those numbers. Nobody had more than 2 hurries. You just had the 1 turnover. But it was just, there was nothing there for Clemson in terms of big plays, chunk plays, busted assignments. It just wasn't there. I've seen some analysts go back over the tape, and Cade Klubnik may have missed some reads where some guys were open, but that's just going to happen over the course of a football game. But if you look at the yardstick in this game, LSU won it 354 to 261. And Clemson just couldn't sustain anything. They were bad on third down, 3 of 13. They only had the ball for 22 minutes and 50 seconds. And because LSU was able to control the game offensively from a clock perspective and continue to rotate the depth that they have on defense, you never had a dire defense. You had a fresh defense start to finish. And Clemson looked like they were driving down there to potentially go for 2 and win that game, which I don't think Dabo was going to do, because he said in the postgame that you almost had a chance to go down there, get a touchdown, kick the extra point, and go to overtime. He said that and used that terminology in his postgame. If I was him, I definitely would have gone for 2 if I'd have scored a touchdown at the end of the game, because I think LSU was the better team. And this is what I when I thought about this game yesterday, I had slept on it. I had done postgame. I had written a column for LouisianaSports.net. And so, okay, what do I think now that the dust is settled and I can look back on that game? And this is the most impactful thing I can say about that game Saturday night on the road at Clemson. I would play it again tomorrow. And I think LSU would win by 2 scores tomorrow. I think LSU is significantly better than Clemson. That is my takeaway from this game. You look at the big-time breaks in this game, the big-time plays in this game, and you think about a fumble that Clemson ran back into plus territory into field goal range. You think about the play where Berrien Brown is ruled incomplete. Like, those are the big moments in the game, and those probably spotted Clemson 10 points. And LSU still won the game by 7 on the road. There have been times where LSU has won games in the past where I would look at it and go, yeah, I don't really want to play that one again. I'm good with that result. This does not fit that category. This team is legit. You have got a great defense, good at every level, and a guy calling it who knows what he's doing, and a roster that's comfortable with what he's asking him to do. And you've got an offense, which we'll talk about in the next segment, that wasn't spectacular on Saturday, but it was in control for the majority of that game. And that's because you've got a 5th-year quarterback and you've got a lot of playmakers and weapons. I want to save the entire segment in the second segment for this offense, but the lead for the show today and the backbone of this football team, which will help take them wherever it is that they go, is that defense. It's good everywhere, and it was excellent in that game on Saturday night. Clemson, 261 yards, 31 yards on the ground, 230 passing, but only 50% from a really good quarterback. 3 of 13 on third downs. LSU out first down Clemson 25 to 13. Clemson only got 4.5 yards per play. And again, quit trying to run the football against LSU's front with that veteran and supposedly excellent offensive line. Not on this night. LSU was much better up front. And that's what I thought was going to happen in this game, and it ended up playing out that way. And it is a monster, monster, monster win for this LSU football program. I don't know if a big win is going to help you when it comes to the playoff selection. In my opinion, as I sit here right now, I think the losses you have are more important than the wins based on what the committee has always done and the way that college football has always responded. It's always been how many games you lost, not who did you beat. But I can tell you this, as someone who said all summer long, I don't want to play this game. It's a monster win for LSU. And it's certainly not going to hurt you. It could help you. But you've got wiggle room now with the 2 losses you can theoretically play with, you've been taking them right out of the chute every single year, and they finally got that monkey off their back, and they can now push forward this season feeling good, feeling confidence, and now we know this defense, this team is damn good. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.